The police high command is again defending its crime-fighting strategy. The Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, insists the proof is in the data. He was addressing Thursday's Crime Consensus Monitoring and Oversight Committee press briefing.
The spike in murders since the start of 2021 has triggered renewed criticism of the JCF's crime-fighting strategy. The factor most criticized is what some call the dependency on states of emergency, SOEs, even as murders and shootings continue. However, Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson believes that despite the emotional response to the current spike, the statistics justifies the measure.
When the first SOE came in 2018, coming from, we got a 72% drop in homicides in the murder capital. It has never gone back there. And we got a 22% drop in homicides in the country overall.
He pointed out that as arguments of human rights violations were made by the public defender and human rights groups, the police made and continue to make changes to how they operate under the measure. He rubbished the idea that the force is depending on SOEs alone to stop serious crimes. As he says, since the first SOE in 2018, the cops have been building cases against gangs.
The data says this work. If there are problems with it, let us fix those problems and not throw out the baby and the bathwater. If somebody can tell me what other thing has created a 72% drop in the highest place of murders in a country and 22% drop overall, that did not involve the loss of life, and you have a reduction in police violence in those spaces, then I'd like to know, because I'd be glad to implement it as well.
As was pointed out by the CMOC, Commissioner Anderson says violence in the society is at the core of the problem. He has welcomed the current bipartisan talks that he expects will be applied to the core issues, including an almost 50% recidivism rate and 80% of people in prison coming from 20 high schools.
That persons who have showed a willingness to continue to infect people with their violence are actually put away for a long time. There's some basic things, and they're consistent across all jurisdictions. Now, sometimes they do not fit our worldview, so we discard the data.
He wants crime-fighting discussions to focus on that data and not on emotions. Herman Green, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the police commissioner says most of the individuals listed as persons of interest in the recent flare-up of violence in West Kingston have turned themselves in. There was tension in sections of West and Central Kingston following shootings in both police divisions. During Thursday's CMOC press briefing, Commissioner Major General Anderson gave an update on the 22 persons of interest that were listed.
We still have 4 of them in custody going through the process. It's given us an opportunity to question them and also to ensure that they know that we know what they're up to as well. We'll continue working on the cases around these persons and continue what we're doing.